Couldn't hear what he said.
All set.
All right.
Good afternoon. I'm now going to call the Wednesday, August 30th, 2023 meeting of the Norfolk County Commissioners to order. On Wednesday, March 29th, 2023, Governor Healy signed into law Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, an act making appropriations for fiscal year 2023. That act includes a 2-year extension of the option for public bodies to hold remote meetings by suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, Chapter 38, Section 20. That action was effective immediately, extending the current option for remote meetings through March 31st, 2025. I'm going to ask everyone to stand and join me in saluting the flag. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'm going to call the roll. Commissioner Stady.
I am present, sir.
Commissioner Collins.
Present.
Commissioner Shea is present. We have a quorum. I'm going to ask if there's no objection that we do a little agenda jumbo here and move down to number 10, which is opera warrants for approval.
Sure,
Okay.
sounds great.
We have 3 opera warrants, and one of the communities is here, so we're going to start at the top. We'll have Director Cronin explain it, and we'll take care of it.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, Commissioners. It's my pleasure to propose to you a grant from the town of Avon in the amount of $857,082. This grant, which will be the entire amount allocated to the town of Avon, is their first and possible last award, given the value of it. It is to install approximately 3,400 feet of 8-inch ductile iron to replace existing asbestos concrete water pipes and related appurtenances on Maple Avenue, Beach Road, Oak Street, and Cedar Road. This is an advance of funding under a public project categorized under the infrastructure water resource category. We've worked with members of the Avon Select Board and Town Administrator's Office to bring this application before you, and I understand 2 representatives from Avon are in the room, the DPW Director and the Finance Director, as well as the Chair of the Avon Select Board. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, great. Eric, do you have any comment? Eric Beckerman, Chair of the Board of Selectmen?
I do. I just want to say, first of all, I want to thank the county for the job that you guys have done, especially the director as well. This whole program was administered, as you know. I also sit on the advisory board, and this whole program has been going flawlessly, and not flawlessly, but as flawlessly as it can be. And that's a credit to the commissioners as well as the director's office. So I want to thank you for that. I also want to thank Deb and Deb Morin, our finance director, and Bill Fitzgerald, our DPW director. They've done a great job putting this paperwork together and getting it in. So on behalf of the Board of Selectmen and the residents of the town of Avon, I want to say thank you to them and thank you to you, commissioners. And I don't know if Bill or Deb has anything to add, but be my guest.
I just want to thank you also too, and Bill's been great to deal with. We
Okay.
unfortunately, we hoped to start last fall, but we had to wait for Springtown meeting, get the design done and hope to start next month.
So we get it done before the winter, hopefully.
Yep.
Okay, Deb, any comment?
No, again, Bill has been great working with him. He's helped us out with CLA and some of the paperwork that we've had to submit. So again, Bill has been great to the town of Avon.
Okay,
And Bill's running our meeting right now.
Yeah,
Nice to meet him.
commissioners, any
We love
comment?
Avon.
just a couple of quick ones, and
Yeah.
hopefully I'm not being redundant. Congratulations, obviously, to Avon. What's the total cost of the project then? If you had the town meeting money that you matched, how much was it? A couple of million, or, do you know?
I'm going to ask Bill to field that. I believe it's somewhere around 1.4 million. Is that correct, Bill?
Yeah, we dedicated this money to the water lines, then we
Yeah.
come back in the fall if we can. That may have, the roads may wait till the spring, but we try to keep them clean, the project. So between that, the state, the federal offer and town meeting put up 1.1 million.
to-
They were
and
very
it-
generous.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you put up 1.1,
Right.
and then this is like another, say, 9, so it's almost $2 million
And
project,
then we
right?
got 400 from the federal.
Yeah, it made a difference at town meeting to be able to say
Right.
this money was coming. if they
And you know,
got that
it's,
money.
I don't want to take the commissioners and our team have worked very hard on this, as Eric noted. But also, the credit originally also should go back to Congressman Lynch, because this is federal money. And it's great to see that at a later date, we'll probably have him visit and have a
Right, we're
photo.
gonna take a
Because
picture.
he's been instrumental. And the last time I saw him to talk, we were at a fundraiser for a representative in Weymouth. And he had hinted that there might be something more down the road. There could be a continuation of something like this, because they're very happy with the results in terms of what we're doing as a team, not individual. Collectively, Norfolk County has been terrific. So it would be great, you know? There's, who
We've
knows?
got a few more projects in
Yeah,
the works.
yeah, I hear you, you know? But I mean, it's great to see we'll have Congressman Lynch and other people there too. So congratulations.
And I'm looking forward to the to an in-person with you guys here in Avon with the big giant check.
Sure, yeah, that's always fun.
I know Commissioner City loves doing those things, so
Oh,
you know,
yeah, we love it. Those
yeah, I
are
know.
fun. Those are fun. Those are fun.
One technical is, do
Sure.
we submit, do we pay and then submit reimbursements, or do we submit direct pay? I can talk afterwards.
No, I can address that. This is in advance, so you'll be wired these funds within the next several business days.
Yeah.
Oh, like
You
that.
will be required through
go to
our
Vegas with
auditor Clifton Larson to provide updates on the project
Okay.
for the next several months for federal reporting purposes.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I'll give it to you. Do we need a motion to
We
approve?
do,
this?
Richard.
Yeah, I'd be glad to do it. So, Mr. Chairman, you know, through you, of course, I'd be pleased to make the motion to grant to the town of Avon an opera award. And the total amount of this funding is $857,082. This is for a water project for related to a water line replacement, as outlined in their submittal to us. And I would make that a motion. So move this date.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It is a vote.
Yeah.
Okay,
Congratulations,
thank you
Eric.
very much.
Congratulations.
We'll be down
Thank
to
you
see
very
you.
much.
Thank
Talk
you,
to
thank
Eric.
you, Eric.
Thanks for
Say
taking
hi, say hi to the
Do we
missus.
wanna do that?
Yeah, absolutely, I will. And thank you
Nice
very
to
much
see you.
for everything, guys. I'll see
Really
you all
pleased to
soon.
meet you. Yes.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank
You
you,
bet.
Deborah.
You bet. Great job.
We wanna
Wonderful.
do that too, we wanna do that.
Bye, Eric. Talk to you soon, Eric.
Go back.
Real quick, if I could just jump in real
Wait.
quick, John, did
Oh.
did Liz call you today about some meeting things? Okay, just wanted to make sure that she followed up on that.
All set.
Right. Thank you all. Enjoy.
Bye,
it.
Eric.
Thank you, Eric.
All right,
Take care,
talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye.
Okay, returning to the regular agenda, item number 4, appointments. I have none today.
Wait,
Public-
what about minutes? No?
Hmm?
Did we,
Uh,
Did we
Number
skip
3, minutes of the open session meeting
Yeah.
of August 23rd,
sure.
2023 for approval. I'm
I'll move
sorry.
approval, Mr. Chairman, as
Yes.
presented.
Second.
They look fine. Yeah.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
On the minutes, thank you. Number
problem.
4, appointments, none.
Yeah.
Number 5, public comment. Each week we set aside some time for public comment. Should anyone come in person or out in Zoom land, if they'd like to have any public comment, now is the time. Director Cronin, do you know of any?
No, sir.
Okay, anyone, any of our listeners have any public comment? Any subject,
Mark
Oh,
McDonald?
I do have one,
public
not a
comment?
comment, but a remark for the commissioners.
Go
from
ahead.
Our neighbor Carla Foley called me this morning.
This is a good time to discuss it.
Yeah, she's just pointing out that she's preparing a letter to the town of Dedham relative to the traffic on High Street, downtown Dedham in general. And she's looking for support in ways to improve pedestrian safety as they cross from one side of High Street to another. She tells me she'll have a letter to us in draft so we can look at it before it goes over to town hall. And I said I would appreciate that. We'll share it with the commissioners beforehand. Thank you.
Okay, well, Mrs. Foley certainly is one of our neighbors at the rear of Dedham Court, and her property also adjoins our parking lot on both sides, so. And she pays attention, so
She's watching
we'll
now.
await the letter.
What was the concern, if I may, Mr. Chairman?
Crossing.
Is her
High
concern
Street.
the amount of cars or the speed of them or the, I mean, like, is it they going too quick or is it just the number? Because there are times where it's very congested, but
She
just-
actually referenced former County Director Frank Hagerty in a conversation. she had some years ago, relative to the amount of people that work in this short space on High Street and some number that cross the street throughout the day. There are 3 crosswalks from Dedham Square down to Court, and there are no proper signals to alert the motorists that people are in the crosswalk. I think
Okay.
the commissioners may be aware in the past of a couple of accidents involving pedestrians and
Yeah.
vehicles. You know, it's a pretty well-traveled street,
Mhm.
but given the amount of pedestrian traffic going back and forth across the street, Ms. Foley believes that the town should look at better signalization so that when you enter the crosswalk, you hit a strobe that
Sure.
alerts a vehicle that, you know, at night or in foul weather may not be immediately visible until the pedestrian is upon them. So it's a safety improvement. I've actually spoken to Leon by email a few months ago. He's interested in helping, but Ms. Foley called me out of the blue and said she would like to send a letter, and I said, I'm sure the commissioners would like to have a look at it. So
Mhm.
I'll report back as soon as I hear from her.
Yeah, especially where we probably have a significant number of people working in those buildings and crossing back and forth. That makes sense. The
Hundreds of
safety-
people.
Yeah,
every
no,
day.
that's a great idea, the safety pedestrian crossing. You see them more and more now too, you know, they're starting to pop up, so, yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Anyone else has any public comment? That concludes number 5. Old business, I have none. Personnel matters for consideration. I believe we have 2 or 3. Director, Commissioner
First one
Staley.
has a.
Yes, sir. So, Mr. Chairman, the first one is for the Norfolk County Agricultural High School. I thought John was here, he must have left.
Over here.
Oh, he's hiding, okay. So the first one's a notice of a new position appointment for Elizabeth Ward of Attleboro, Mass. This motion would be to appoint Elizabeth Ward of Attleboro, Mass. as a 183-day instructor,
Special education teacher.
special education teacher. And I suppose does this say as amended? I mean, or just because it didn't say that
It
originally?
didn't say that in the type form, so I talked to John Martin. He gave me permission to put in special education teacher next to the 180 day.
Okay,
And so it's now as amended, and there's actually a checkoff box in that. So
Okay.
just say if you make that motion as amended,
that's amended.
then we'll
Okay.
second it.
So just to say for the record, because the original print didn't say her job title. So we're reading that motion as one thing. Move to appoint Elizabeth Ward, Attleboro, Mass. as a 183-day instructor for the job at the Aggie School, and with the title as amended to read special education teacher.
Second. Right.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is a vote.
Uh,
Next, 2 at the registry. of
Two
Deeds.
registry of deeds, Mr. Chairman, through you. Notice of appointment, first motion of Jennifer Miller of North Attleboro as the head clerk, non-union, for the rate stated. She's replacing Jamie Caravas. This would be effective date. I just realized I didn't make the effective date the first.
9/18.
You know, I didn't make that
That's
motion.
all right. It's all good. Today's
It's okay.
effective. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's all
All
right.
right, sorry. So this is for Jamie Caravas, effective 9/18/23. So moved.
Second.
Motion made second. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote.
And the
Next, at the
second one is
registry.
notice move appointment of Louise Pisano of Westwood as senior clerk. And this would be at the rate stated, replacing Amanda Lapalolis, effective 9/18/23. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote.
And for the record, the first appointment, Commissioner Stady, as you alluded to, was effective 9/5.
23. I think this is friendly. Include that in my motion. For the record. All right,
Okay.
good.
Great.
All right, good.
Okay, next, payroll and expense warrants. Commissioner Stady.
Yes, sir. We have it right here. So we have several. We'll start with the county. First one is payroll of the county, 24-8 is the item. The amount, move $158,304.79. So moved.
Second.
Motion made second. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote. Next,
Second, for the county expense, 08-0524. I move the amount of $537,699.98. So moved.
Second.
motion made and second. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote.
We have the rest are opera awards, and we think we already voted.
2 more.
We have to do A1 again? Or just,
It's part of the overall.
Okay. all right,
warrant.
so we'll just, it's, the third item is for A1 opera 2409, and the amount is $857,082. So moved.
Second.
Motion made second. All in favor?
Aye.
Next,
Next to Dedham, they have 2 awards. First one under 24-09. Dedham's going to receive, move the amount $10,800. So moved.
Second.
Motion made in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Dedham next.
And the last one, Dedham Opera Award 24-09. It's a line item warrant list, the amount of $688. So moved.
Second.
Motion made in second, all in favor? Aye. It is a vote. Thank you.
That takes care of that.
Report on American Rescue Plan Act.
Thank you, Mr.
Any more?
Chairman.
Commissioners?
Just briefly, you have,
Correct.
in addition to the ARPA award to the town of Avon that we just detailed, you just approved 2 additional awards to Dedham. These are the latest Dedham awards. Dedham's been very active. They are applying their ARPA in a very different way to smaller but yet very effective grants, as Commissioner Stady just indicated. The first one was $10,000 towards a it was towards a Dedham Summers Market SNAP program. The funds will be used by the Dedham Summers Farmer Market and the Dedham Winter Farmers Market to provide a matching voucher for households receiving SNAP/HIP benefits. $10 vouchers will be provided once each market season opens to 504 households that reside in Dedham Public Housing receiving vouchers or are engaged with assistance through the Dedham Council on Aging. So it's, again, not a large award, but impactful as it reaches some of our most disproportionately affected population in Dedham. In addition, they are looking for $688 for vaccination, the health department hosts vaccination clinics. They're looking to purchase value pack. These are tents that will pop up to allow the Dedham Public Health Department to host public events for vaccinations across the town. Both of these are advances. So with these awards, the town will move to purchase the vouchers and the tents for their respective needs. As a result of today's awards, I believe this places the county over $90 million in awarded funds to date. That is all I have right now. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I think I got in my packet 2 copies of the same grant. That's why I didn't know about the tent. And just forgive me for a second.
You get it, Mike.
I wanted that one. I wanted to read about that one. Yeah, I got the same thing. That's why I didn't know about the tent. Is this the one? So can you explain? I didn't get a chance to read this one here. We're giving Dedham money and they're going to use it to help out low-income families to get
That's-
food?
Yes, for the vouchers. That's
The
correct.
vouchers.
Yep. They're
Interesting.
purchasing vouchers, SNAP benefits that'll
Right.
be handed out to individuals who reside in public housing.
Has any town done this in our
No.
county? This is the first. This is very innovative.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I never, when you heard it, I was like, I've never seen it in the whole county. This is great. Very good. Good for them. Good for them.
That is the $688.
Yeah, this is eighth. Yeah.
Here's
Again, this is
That's the voucher.
third time I've
Not
seen it.
knowing which one.
This
you
is the
saw.
one. This is the one I wanted to see.
You
Can I
have
keep
that.
this one in?
Yeah,
All right, great.
thank you. Yeah.
That's great. I think it's great. Fantastic. What's Dedham at? Do you know, top of your head?
You know, I don't know off the top of my head.
They have some money left, though. They have
They
money
do. Again, a lot of their grants have been on the lower value side in terms
Yeah.
of dollars,
left. Yep.
but they've been very active. They have a full widespread plan to apply their grant in a lot of different areas.
Okay.
So they're not, I don't think they're halfway through.
All right.
They've been very active.
Politely, and I mean this in the nicest way. Summer, as you know, is winding down, and now we're getting back to school, back to work. So when possible, and there's no rush, could you check with Billy and see if he could follow up on some of those towns that maybe are still not off the dime yet? There's a few.
You're talking about Mr. Galvin. Mr.
Yeah.
Galvin has
If you
done
can.
that.
I know
I'm
it's busy.
pleased to announce that with Avon's award today,
Right.
you are down to 2 communities that have not been awarded funds.
Okay.
Plainville is one of them. They have grants in the queue. They
Mhm.
just haven't reached the level yet where they're ready for approval. You'll likely see them in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
That leaves one community, Brookline. Brookline submitted a grant, but it requires some considerable backup for a
Mhm.
premium pay offer.
Mhm.
And we haven't heard from them. So they were kind enough to set up a Zoom with their stakeholders on September 5th. And I've alerted advisory board member Childs about this as well. Brookline is one of the larger allotted amounts of ARPA in the county portfolio this round, and we want to make sure they have ample time to tackle their strategic needs. So hopefully with some results from that phone call after September 5th, we'll see Brookline's award move more quickly. But that is it. After that, we will have 100% participation in the program with about 35 million or so to go
Yeah,
for
about
a
that,
full
right?
year.
About that.
Mhm.
That's fine.
Great shape.
All right, great. Thank you,
You're
Mr.
welcome.
Chairman, thank you.
This
Is it okay to
concludes,
keep this one here?
Please, yeah,
Right.
sure.
this concludes, offer for today. We did the opera warrants, or did we, you right?
You're all set.
Okay.
Mhm.
Number 11, fiscal 21 audit for acceptance, Director Cronin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, Commissioners. It's my pleasure to deliver to you the final FY21 audit for Norfolk County. The Commissioners may be aware that prior to my arrival, you contracted with Lynch Marini to perform some catch-up on our backlog of audits. Last year, you approved the FY20 audit. This afternoon, before you is a request to accept the FY21 audit. This particular process began many months ago. The vendor, Lynch Marini, and the county departments worked over the last several months to collect material in response to their needs, to follow up on details associated with our financial transactions. This particular audit was different in that it, for the first time, required the county to file a statement relative to financial grants. It's known as a CFR application. When you reach a level of over $750,000 in federal grants, it triggers your need to do that separate award, separate audit. That was also achieved. You may recall prior to my arrival, it was around 2021, 2020. You were receiving CARES money from the state, directly from the state. It's different than ARPA, where we got it directly from the feds. Coupled with some of the federal grants that the schools get, it pushed us over the $750,000 threshold, so we had to pay for additional audit of that. As a result of this, the county sees some similarities to its FY20 audit. The Commissioners may recall in FY20 there were substantial changes made to the way the Registry of Deeds, for example, the appropriation changed from prior year appropriation to prior year expenditure, and those changes were reflected in the material findings that are listed in this audit. Overall, it is almost identical to last year, except they added 2 other additional material weaknesses that were noted in the CARES Act funding. I'll note that the the county did its best under CARES without the proper financial architecture or apparatus around it to receive the funds that we did. Looking back, the state, wanted to control CARES, and the manner in which you receive funds was literally through email applications. It's not the preferred process. It lacked certain pass-through sign-offs and so forth. The county, as you know, has stepped up in a magnificent way under the ARPA program by hiring outside auditors to ensure our compliance with OMB guidelines is complete. So looking forward, I think you can continue to see and experience improvements in the way the county is financially managed. We will move on after this audit to perform the FY22 and then subsequently the FY23 audit. So that is my report, Mr. Chairman. So we're looking for a vote today to accept the FY21 audit.
Commissioners, any questions or comments? So we just put this into the normal stride of things and go right on to the next.
Yes, and furthermore, it'll be posted on our website like prior audits would be.
Okay,
And I should note, I think Joe Dior is on the call. He's a partner in this project and also available if there are any questions relative to the audit.
Oh, great, okay.
okay.
So a couple of things if I may.
Sure, go
Unless
ahead.
Peter wants to go first?
Go ahead.
No,
I don't want to,
No.
supplement. So 2 things. I mean, personally, I'm just saying, as a commissioner, I expressed this to John already. It's distressing to see once again we're at odds in terms of the approach that we're taking and they're taking. I know there are CPA auditors and they're in terms of the registry funding and the deeds excise. That matter, I think, will not be resolved until it gets adjudicated properly and hopefully very soon. You know what I'm saying? Right. And that we can't do anything about that. But they cited us again saying we're doing it wrong, more or less, according to their procedures. And of course, we have our position. We feel we're doing it right, of course. But this is distressing. But there was something in there, and I'm not trying to call anybody out, but I want to ask. So Joe and Mike Bellotti got copies of this? In the
yeah,
report.
Joe's on the call.
Okay, Joe,
At the meeting, of course.
there was something that mentioned our treasurer. It was the treasurer, and I can't find it, and I don't want to bring a comment, I can't, it was something about that they should be bonded or something like that for a certain thing. Did you
Oh,
catch that?
right.
Right?
It
And
was
they
a
mentioned Joe and Mike.
It is not a material weakness. I believe it is a
Okay.
recommendation.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. But they were aware, did they see that? They're aware of that?
I'll
I didn't know if
yield to Joe.
anybody.
Hi, Commissioner. Yeah, we have the
Hi, Joe.
paperwork.
Did
We're
you
in the
see that,
process.
Joe? Did you
Yeah.
catch that?
Yeah, we're in the process. We have the paperwork to file for that, but
Okay,
just not completed yet.
okay. I want to make sure you knew, that's all.
Yep.
That's all. I want to make sure no one gets, surprised or anything like that. Okay. And then the last thing, truth, Mr. Chairman, for you,
Yes.
to John or Joe or somebody, what's the effect of this kind of an audit where they're kind of like, does this lower our bond rating?
No.
Our ability to borrow, this hurt us or? Okay.
No.
Just,
We have an identical audit to FY20, and a year ago, it's actually a year and a half ago, we went out to the market to secure financial bonds for the latest school project. Our rating is unchanged. The audit is in the hands of the bond rating agency, and they were fine with our overall position. It did not affect us at all.
okay.
And I've seen audits throughout my career. If you have an audit and you don't have a finding, maybe the auditor is not looking hard enough. No agency or operation is perfect. There's always ways
Sure.
to improve your controls and the
Oh,
manner
yeah.
in which you conduct your use of public funds.
Right.
These audits, I think, are reflective of a shift in the way the county was doing any other business. I think as the years progress now, you'll see more stability in the finding and overall view of the county's financial operations. So I think the bond rating companies, Commissioner Stady, agree that substantially the county's well managed. It has a sound financial base, but there are ways we can improve. And certainly the Abrahams Group reports, which you accepted several years ago, but we're still in the process of pulling into formal use, is part of that overall long-term solution.
And this is, thank you for that. And this is for the fiscal year 21 also, right? So we're still in a real, we haven't caught up to where we are, obviously, but.
Yep.
Okay. In this, I assume are our answers to the auditors.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I read,
Mhm.
they were fine, so, no further questions. Unless Peter has something.
I'm all set.
Okay, do we have a motion to accept the audit?
I'll
As
move that,
presented.
move to accept the audit.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the fiscal year 21 audit. All in favor?
All right,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It is approved. Thank you, Joe.
nice Sean, Joe. Joe.
Number
Thank you, Joe.
12, bid openings at 1:30. We have none. Nancy?
Mhm.
Yep. We have contract awards.
Yeah.
Okay, we're at number 13. Nancy Rockwell, contract awards, fuel tank reconditioning upgrade, and new fuel dispenser for the Wallace Recreation Facility is number 1, or that's the only one today.
Yes,
Come on
I,
up, Nancy.
good afternoon. I sent out for quotes for this. We received 3 responses, Petroleum Management Services being the lowest responsible, in the amount of $37,042.50. I would recommend awarding them a contract to do this service, which is needed at the golf course.
And,
Their references came back very good.
okay,
I got
so
several.
this is the whole fuel tank, everything, a new dispenser, just an upgrade.
There, yes,
And how
upgrade.
big is the fuel tank at Wallace?
I believe it's 1,000 gallons. And they're both above ground. They're both diesel and gasoline.
Okay, and they're for all of our equipment and everything else?
Yes, and all the golf carts and such.
Okay, all right. Any questions? And if we're ready to go, let's not hold it up.
Was that handled through capital outlay, or capital program?
Yes.
It was.
Mhm.
It was in their last year's budget as a necessity. They were not.
Great. So you want to move?
Any questions? Okay, if
I'm all set, Peter.
we can.
I'll move to grant the award the contract to
Petroleum Management Services,
Petroleum Management Services, the amount of $37,007.50,
$42.50.
$42.50
Yes.
for the fuel tank reconditioning upgrade and new fuel dispenser at the Wallace Recreational Facility.
Yes.
All right.
Motion made and seconded
And I've also included the notice to proceed also, so
Right.
we can get,
to award the contract for fuel tank reconditioning upgrade and new fuel dispenser for Wallace Recreation Facility 2. the name of the company again?
Petroleum Services,
Emporium
Petroleum.
Petroleum Services, Inc. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I'll be signing that today.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Thank you, Nancy. That's
Good
number
job. Thank you,
13.
Nancy.
Number
Thank you.
14. Report of the county director, John Cronin.
Thank you, Commissioners. Shay, good afternoon again, Commissioners. A few items. First, to alert you that you are scheduled for a meeting next Wednesday at noontime at the Agricultural School to meet with the Massachusetts Association of County Commissioners. We'll be sending out an agenda relative to that meeting shortly. Prior to that meeting, and in consultation with Chairman Shea, the commissioners intend to meet at 10 o'clock next Wednesday morning, which will give you enough time to conduct your business and then prepare for the 12 o'clock meeting with the county commissioners.
Okay.
So that is scheduled for next week. In addition, next week will be the 1 week before the advisory board. I expect to have material available for you to examine in consideration of any supplemental needs or transfers. I'll have a brief PowerPoint to explain our financial position as we head into the advisory board meeting on the 13th. So there'll be a little bit of that on the agenda as well. Relative to the advisory board overall strategy, I think I mentioned prior, we start FY24 favorably with a decent surplus to handle any unexpected needs. I intend to stay liquid and not look to expend funds in September while we watch how our revenue collections are pacing. We acknowledge that the deeds excise, for example, and some of the deeds revenue is lagging behind some milestones that we had set in FY23. So I want to keep an eye on that before we start spending any supplemental items on projects, likely until December. So you'll see an overall low activity, if you will, on supplemental needs unless they're urgently needed. I'm also going to provide a brief update in the PowerPoint of our county activity so far, especially in the information technology area, weights and measures, and ARPA. I think it's important to let the advisory board members know about the good work you folks have been doing on behalf of the county and the impact it's having on their communities. I had sent out a request to the department heads some weeks ago to have all supplemental and transfer requests into my office by September 5th. So I'm asking today that the department heads, if they have it sooner, please send it to me, but no later than September 5th so I can adequately prepare for your meeting next week. This particular supplemental will include two FY24 appropriation adjustments. One is for the Norfolk County Agricultural School, and one will be for the Registry of Deeds. So that'll be part of what you look at on the 6th and 13th.
It will include registry of deeds?
It did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I want to update the commissioners that the personnel handbook proofing internally is concluding this week. I spoke with our labor attorney, Michelle McNulty, yesterday. I intend to provide her this handbook version as early as next Tuesday, Monday being a holiday, and have it back approximately 2 weeks later for department head input. So as we continue our process of trying to get this important handbook completed, we want the buy-in of our labor attorney as well as department heads before it comes before you, likely by the end of September. An announcement for those that work in 614 High Street. There will be some work by our telecommunications contractor on September 18th. They're moving phone equipment from the utility closet into the disaster recovery room across the hall. It's an improper place to hold that kind of equipment. Sam Evans and his staff are handling that. I want to alert to the commissioners that you may recall we awarded $15,000 to a variety of Norfolk County nonprofits to help combat the opioid epidemic. Those awards went out this past spring and early summer. I received a notice this past week that we have just received an additional $4,321 from the opioid settlement, which was anticipated. This now means we have just over $5,000 back into that fund, available for distribution if the commissioners are inclined to the same network. So I'm looking for a consensus today that I ought to contact the Norfolk DA's office to see if they have an interest in adding additional resources to those outlets.
I'm sure they do, and as I said earlier, as we decided, I mean, he had the structure in place,
Yeah,
in that I guess he had 26 of the 28 communities sitting at the table,
right.
monthly meetings, etc.
Right.
Unless something drastic comes up, I think we should stay on that course.
That's
It's good
great.
to bring it up and review
Yeah,
it.
they've
every
had
time.
the summer off and they're about to start their meetings again. I know that. So
Correct.
that's great timing to have some new money and
Hmm.
some of the towns that maybe didn't, there were a couple that didn't apply. Maybe they may be interested in applying or people can apply again.
I'll work
But either way.
through you.
That's great.
If
Right.
you're in agreement, I will reach out to the district attorney, and I'm
Yeah.
sure he'll ask me to work with his program people. Just a reminder, you may have forgotten that the Jansen side of the settlement has yet to be distributed, but according to the schedule that we've seen over a 15-year period, the county's expected to receive about this amount of money for 15 more years. So it seems like it's going to be a regular recurring payment for some years to come. And having a network and an opportunity to reach the nonprofits that touch this epidemic most directly seems sensible. As long as you're in agreement, I'll continue doing it.
And how much is it roughly a year?
About $4,000 to $5,000 a year
Okay.
for the next 15 years.
But let's reserve the right to look at it each time, but
Yeah.
I don't want to change down unless
I'm with you.
you.
I concur.
Okay, no vote needed, just consensus.
Okay.
Netflix had kind of a documentary or a movie about the whole opioid crisis and about the people that actually invented it and how much money they made. They made an incredible amount of money. So when they even settled on these things, it was just like, but terrible thing, terrible crisis. So it's good that we're doing something.
Yeah.
You know, something better than nothing.
Push it back up.
Yeah.
And just a reminder, while these funds are coming to Norfolk County's not retaining any portion of the money. There is no
Right.
administrative cost.
Right.
Push it right back out, as
Right.
Commissioner Stady said, to the nonprofits. And finally, just an update, I forwarded some information to the commissioners for their information relative to a electronic vehicle grant opportunity through the Department of Environmental Protection. The EVIP grant, so-called, is available to local cities and towns to help them fit out electric vehicle charging stations. Each site is considered one application and is eligible up for $50,000. Working with our electrician, Charles Cushing, he was able to contact one of our utility providers at National Grid, who turned us over to a vendor who they work with, who runs on behalf of the utilities a connection between the Mass VIP grant and the applying entity. Charles and I met with Brian Laughlin last week, very informative dialogue. And at this point, it would appear most advantageous to the county to consider the Dedham space behind the Registry of Deeds to be the most optimal. It's within the Eversource utility coverage area. Eversource is the preferred or easier utility to work with. We're going to begin looking to program out a few spaces. I don't know how many yet, behind the registry that can be used for electric vehicle charging. The program includes a company called ChargePoint, who would physically work to collect the funds electronically, manage the funds payments back to the county to offset our utility costs and so forth. So it's a fully functioning program. It's well oiled. Mr. Laughlin will be getting back to us with a plan of next steps. They assist us with the application to the state, which I'd already started. So overall, we'll be looking to use Dedham as the first proof of concept, if you will, as we move on to our other locations. I know this has been a priority for each of you, specifically Commissioner Stady's asked for it for some time. We will likely move on to a series of other locations, eventually covering all county locations, including the school, as well as Wallaston recreational facilities in our court. So starting first with Dedham, we'll see how it goes, learn some lessons, and then proceed step by step. I'll keep you all informed as we progress. That's all I have this afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Questions?
So as a follow-up, and politely, do we need to have some kind of a vote to authorize John to do this on behalf of us? And the second thing is, I certainly would hope as a courtesy, we'll let the registrar know if we're looking at land and spaces, things like that.
Yep, two
But
good
do we need
questions.
any kind of a vote from us?
When the
go
time
forward?
comes for us to submit the application, that's when we'll be looking for your vote to approve the application to the state.
Okay,
Yeah, let's look at the application. and I think
Yeah.
we'll
And second of all,
We will discuss it at the registry.
I asked Mr. McGowan to speak with the stakeholders at Stoughton District Court, Rentham District Court, and the registry. He's achieved the first two. We got favorable thumbs up from the clerk and judges in the courts,
good.
and he's planning to speak with the registrar in case they have any reservations or concerns.
Great job. Very exciting. Very exciting. It's great. Way to go. Way of the future. It's
Makes me
coming.
wonder.
Like it or not, it's
I know,
coming.
I don't know.
You know, I don't know, but it's coming. Oh, that's great.
Well, I have that, Mr. Chair.
Any other questions of John? Anything else?
Not at John, very quickly. if I
Yes,
could.
go ahead.
So, Mr. Chairman, at a recent event that we actually, I attended in Quincy, I happened to see our sheriff, Patrick McDermott, and we had a great conversation about different things. You know, years ago, I remember as an advisory board member, you probably all recall, at one time, the Norfolk sheriff was more or less a department under the commissioners at one
Correct.
time. And we, you know, the commissioners had control of the budget. And of course, you know, that was years ago, and then they broke away and all that. So what Patrick said, more or less, not to put words in his mouth, but what he was saying to me was that over time, the sheriff department maybe has drifted away a little bit, you know, maybe from their mission or from the, and he would like to renew some of the work and work more closely with the commissioners
Good.
on different endeavors. And he had a couple of great ideas, some of which he took right out of the magazine, which I just happened to see on the national level. Some things that are going on, you read that NACO that we belong to. So the long story short was, to make a long cut to the short, he asked if at some point, maybe in the fall, maybe October or even early November, if he could come in and talk to us and just
Okay,
open the doors up for communication, to have some ideas, to work with us, and to explore some ways we can work together for the good of the county. I think it's a great idea.
okay, I'll make sure that we
Yeah.
discuss it so we can get it on his
That fair?
calendar and then we'll have a
Yeah.
date, and put them on us.
Yeah, okay. So I thought that was great. That was good. And other than
Okay.
that, I don't have anything
Last
else.
call on the number 13, emergency items the chair did not reasonably anticipate would be discussed. Any other questions, comments?
That's item 15,
Oh, wait,
emergency item.
we have something else?
Number
Yeah.
15, yeah, emergency item.
So we are gonna be meeting at next week
Yes,
at 10 o'clock in the morning
and I
at the Aggie School.
I think 10 is better because we're meeting with all the counties and
All right.
at noon, and again, on the other end, I don't know when that'll answer, so I thought we could get rolling early and have our meeting at 10.
I might bring a box of Joe. We'll see.
That's good, our road show, and then we will be serving lunch though.
Oh, we got to, okay, I'm gonna ask about that.
And then
too.
go
Okay.
in
The
right into
the association is providing.
right association. We have no money for lunch. but the
Before we
association-
have that meeting, is there anything from that last meeting that we were supposed to attend to that we did not attend to? Do you recall? I know it was a very good meeting.
All
And it
the
was-
matters associated with that agenda have been attended to, and
Okay.
the agenda will reflect that.
Okay,
So we'll
great.
report back separately. It's a different organization, so I don't bring it in under this. agenda.
Right. I get it.
Is that the Plymouth meeting or was
Yeah.
that the one before that?
No, that was down the Cape, the Barnstable meeting, in which the islands attended. We had one representative from Bristol. Bristol had one commissioner, I believe, and then we had Martha's Vineyard, the commissioners from the island attended.
Right.
And Barnstable was the host. And then they showed us our facility for testing water.
Oh, that's right,
Remember that?
that's right.
That was
that's right.
Barnstable. That was
Plymouth was 2 meetings
Right.
ago.
Plymouth was before that. That was down at that famous museum, which was great too. That was a good meeting, but our turn. That's good. I think that means Martha's Vineyard should be hosting it. Maybe not in the winter, but we don't want that. But anyway. Move,
Okay, motion to
yeah,
adjourn.
move we adjourn at 1:45.
Second.
Motion made, and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. This meeting is adjourned.
Exciting.
And that's yours,